listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This podcast is sponsored by Ingram Micro's Imaginext. It's not about the destination. It's about going someplace you never thought possible. Go to imaginext.ingrammicro.com to find out more. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Carrie Roberts, and my guest today is Danielle Gallagher, a senior content strategist at Ingram Micro. Welcome, Danielle. Thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Carrie. Thank you for having me.
So today we are chatting about web and content marketing. And Danielle, marketing is a really broad vertical, and even content marketing can be a lot of different things. Can you share with us how you personally define content marketing?
Yeah, I agree with you. Really, in my world, content marketing is anything you can consume online. So we deal with a lot of social media, web, video, email, but you can also consider apps or even text can be considered content marketing.
And are there any current content marketing trends happening now in 2020?
Yeah, for us, we have been really diving into vlogs, with a V. Sometimes people don't hear that, but it's vlogs, which are video blogs. And we have found a lot of success with that because we work in the tech industry. So what's great about that is people can really use that platform to demo products and show people how to set up a solution, how-to content. So that works really well, especially in today's world. And then also podcasts, what we're doing. We've had a lot of success with podcasts. I think that's a really great thing for people to consume because you can consume it while multitasking, which is nice. And then the one area that I really feel is getting a lot of momentum is streaming content because of all the virtual events that are happening now.
Yeah, and I know your one event that you did is very hands-on. You do some great stuff, and you all are kind of adding a lot of these things to it as well for future events too, right?
Yeah, so we are tasked with a challenge this year. I feel like I'm becoming a digital event planner in a way, but we are, bringing everything online. So it has been a huge learning curve for us, but it's very exciting just because we are now, not only are we doing it in a virtual way, but we are able to include our global regions too for the first time. So it's a global event where we used to just have these as regional live events. So it's exciting. I think it's going to be great.
Now, there's a couple other trends that are popular now, and I know you're interested in them, which is segmentation, blogs, and copy. Can you break down what they are for those that don't know and give us an example of each?
Well, I'm really going to take two. One is segmentation, and segmentation is something that it's kind of basically looking at content, and you know that content is not one size fits all. You have to target specific customer segments, and the more targeted content, the better, because what you could do is you can divide customers into categories that have similar characteristics. And there's different ways to do it. There's one where it's geographics where, you got location, language, climate, population. And then there's some demographics, which we're all familiar with, where you got age, gender, income, education, occupation. But the ones that are a little bigger picture, a little bit out there are psychographics, which is like lifestyle and personality, values and attitudes. And another one is behavioral, which is kind of more on an e-commerce basis, is where their purchase history or what they're engaging with, you can kind of put them into these buckets, which can create a segmentation, or sometimes people even get it down to a persona level. But we, on our website, imaginext.ingrammicro.com, we've done a really high level way of doing it, but it's the only website that we have at Ingram that does it. Is we have a segmentation splash page. So when you visit the site, you actually choose what type of customer you are, and then that serves up the content for that customer.
Yeah, I've been on the site. If you haven't and you're listening, definitely check it out because I love that, because it kind of goes into categories of where you want to be and you're looking for the content you need at that moment. It's done very well.
Yeah. And then the next thing thank you, by the way. And the next thing I want to talk about is blogs. And the reason why I think it's a good topic is that I know blogs have been around for a long time, but there is a reason for it. And I think if you are a smaller business and you don't have really a marketing department, or, maybe just one person is handling it, blogs are great to kind of expand your content more if you have a website, things like that. And what happens is they also help you gain trust with your customer. I really feel that they kind of get in touch with some sort of thought leadership from your company that really gets people to invest in what you're doing. And I just have a few tips for people, especially if you're smaller and you need to manage it on your own, that you should really tap into the experts in your company to help out with the content. Blogs, everyone can write a blog. It's not that hard. So have everyone, whether it's people in the finance department or people in sales or people in tech support, things like that, they can lend a hand. And that kind of goes to the next thing, that you really need to post frequently, just like social media. You can't just put one post up and then not post for a month or two. And also, it's important to make these blogs informational, not promotional. I know it's really easy to promote things, but people just kind of, they don't trust those things. They think it's advertisement and they won't engage. And the way to kind of bring them into content is using statistics. So that always seems to be a good way to kind of hook people in and really have them invest time in reading the content. And don't forget, if you do have blogs, that you should be promoting them on your social media or email.
So would you suggest, based on that, you're saying that blogs are kind of the best way to go if you're kind of a one-person show? Because I know when we've talked to people before, they're overwhelmed. There's so many avenues to do content and marketing. They're not sure which to choose. Is this kind of a best place to start for most people if they're very small?
Yeah, I think it's really easy. Even like going about the most successful blogs are blogs that are like lists or top, like a top 10 list or best of or 10 tips or things like that are really easy for people to quickly browse and digest. So I think if you think it that way, instead of writing an article, it might be not so overwhelming.
Now, another thing, with us being in 2020, as you're saying, everybody's online, everybody's on social media. Do you think it's still important to have a website? Is it as prevalent as it was years ago? And if so, what does it mean to have great copy that represents your brand on your website?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up this question, because I was at a conference, Digital Summit LA, last year, and there was the speaker who was an SEO optimization specialist, and he's usually all about like social media and things like that, but he was really saying, he described that a company's website is like the mothership, and he said everything should be driving customers to that website so that they can be in a place that they can learn everything they need to know about your company. And I just thought that was a really great way to think about it, especially in this digital age. People kind of think, oh, you don't need a website anymore. You can just have social media, but you really need to have a place where all your content can reside and can be really educational to your customer base. And that's what it represents.
Yeah, I definitely agree on that point. And there are also 3 things that you think are important with content, which include having content that's 1, educational, 2, conversational, and 3, digestible. What do these words mean? And again, can you maybe share some examples for people that aren't really quite clear?
Yeah, I think this comes from me being kind of traumatized through the years working in the tech industry, because I've worked with a lot of tech writers that are not shy about providing a lot of detailed content. And that's not bad if it's in like a white paper, right? But when we're doing digital content, it needs to really capture people's attention. So I kind of think marketing content is different. It needs to get the reader's attention, needs to make an impact, and then get out. You need to really kind of be quick and effective. People just don't have a lot of time. There's so much content out there. I mean, they don't have that time that they had before. And so I think, there's lots of digital content that fall into these categories. And the first thing that really comes to my mind right away is an infographic. And I really love infographics because it's, especially in the tech market, it's a quick way to educate readers in a graphical way, which makes it more memorable because they use a lot of stats or call outs that really make complex content easier to understand.
Yeah, and they have nice visuals too. So if you're kind of a visual learner, like you said, not having such heavy text can be helpful for people like that as well.
Exactly.
Now, copywriting has evolved over the years. And in your opinion, where do you think it's gone and where would you like to see it go?
Yeah, I've been there. I've been through the whole gamut. So when I started at Ingram Micro, everything that we were doing at the time was print-based marketing. So we were doing faxes, newsletters, brochures, and product catalogs. There was no website. So over the years, as we got a website and became more digital, now that's all we really do. I would say 95% of what we create in our creative services and marketing department is that. And so things like email, websites, and social ads and videos make up a big part of that. But the biggest difference that I've noticed really is that now we can measure our content with analytics. So now we know what's really working and what's not. And we never knew that before when we used to mail out newsletters and things like that. So we were working in the dark. So I really like that we can understand what people are interested in. And then the other thing is there's just a much greater demand for content. It's job security for me.
Now, you were talking earlier about the Ingram Micro Imaginext website. Can you describe it a little bit more for those that haven't been to it and how you and your team have created and continue to update the content as you kind of see where your audience is and use those analytics to market to them?
Yeah, that's a big question. Well, I would really describe the Imaginext website as a true content marketing website. We also have an e-commerce website that it works hand in hand with. So we're developing a learn and buy scenario here. So we really pride ourselves with Imaginext of creating a space that our customers can come to learn everything they need to know about what Ingram Micro offers. And Ingram Micro is a very large company. And so sometimes it's really difficult for our customers to navigate all the services we really offer. And that's what we decided to do with this website is, give them this place where they can go and find really high level content that's educational and easy to follow the navigation so that they can find what they're looking for. And you brought up the point of how do we know what our customers are looking for? We do also, our site is SEO optimized. So it's the only website of Ingram Micros that is that way. So we are using that information to understand what keywords are being searched and so forth and how people are getting to our pages.
Can you share with us, and especially with a lot of people working from home now, what are some of the keywords that they've been searching for, or what's some of the most common pieces of content that they're looking for on your website?
Yeah, I think IoT has become really popular trending technology. Another thing they really are interested in are our events that we were talking about earlier. And probably our service that they really are the most interested in is our training and our professional services.
Which makes sense. And I think, you're proving your point here that when you start to really look at what people are looking for, what they want, how they're responding, you can create better content. And then, as you said, be able to learn and then buy. So it's a really smart concept of what you're doing there at Ingram. And for those that are a partner with Ingram, how do you help them with their content marketing?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because Ingram has one of the largest customer bases in the IT channel, our manufacturer partners really turn to us to help market to these IT businesses that sell their products or solutions. So we really spend a lot of time helping those manufacturers develop digital marketing campaigns and web content. And we're talking big players like Cisco and Lenovo and VMware, Dell. You would think that they would have their own creative team or marketing team to do that, but they don't have one that focuses on Ingram Micro's customer base. So it's a really great opportunity for them to market to that customer segment.
Now, we ask all of our guests on this show, where do they see technology going within the next year? But with your background in web and copy and content marketing, where do you see content going in the coming years?
Yeah, I see it becoming more customized and targeted to customers' needs and wants even more than it is now. I know it's already seems like it is, but I feel like artificial intelligence will have a big role in serving up that type of targeted content. I also feel that readers or consumers will crave content more that is honest and provides an organic experience. I recently read a story about the Gen Z generation. And since those are our future business owners and consumers, they're college age right now, the things that came up that they valued the most was honesty, open-mindedness, authenticity, commitment, reliability, and intelligence. So I think if you kind of really look, I think it's just really important knowing your audience and what they want to engage with.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Where can people learn more about what we talked about, the website, and if they're a partner, where they can ask questions?
Yeah, I encourage all of you to, if you haven't already, by listening to this podcast, you can find it there. I encourage you to visit the imaginext.ingrammicro.com website. And there you also see a lot of blog ideas. I meant to say that earlier. So we have a trends section that has hundreds of blogs for you to look at to get ideas. And then also, if you're a Ingram Micro partner, I recommend that you contact your account manager.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge. Again, for people listening, this is another important part of your business. It's wonderful to know that Ingram Micro is there to help you with that as well. So thank you for being here, Danielle. We appreciate it.
Great. Thank you.
If you like this episode or have a question, join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram Tech Soul with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, hosted by Carrie Roberts. This episode was sponsored by Ingram Micro's Imaginext. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production with Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today on your favorite podcast platform.